He started as a bookkeeper making $16 per week. By age 38, he controlled 90% of all oil refineries in America. When he died, his wealth equaled 1.5% of the entire U.S. economy, approximately $340 billion in today's money. This is how John D. Rockefeller became the richest person in modern history. John D. Rockefeller didn't inherit wealth. He didn't have political connections. He was the son of a con man who abandoned his family. But Rockefeller had something more valuable than money or connections. He had an obsession with efficiency and an understanding that whoever controlled oil would control the future. His methods were ruthless, brilliant, and completely legal. By the time the government broke up his monopoly, he was already the wealthiest human being who had ever lived. John Davison Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1839, in Richford, New York. His father, William Avery Rockefeller, was a traveling salesman who sold miracle cure elixirs, essentially a con man. William would disappear for months, leaving John's mother Eliza to raise 6 children alone with almost no money. Eliza was deeply religious and instilled strict values in young John. She taught him to save every penny, work hard, and trust in God. John later said his mother's lessons about thrift and discipline shaped everything he became. His father, despite being a con man, taught John something useful: how to negotiate and never show emotion in business deals. The family moved to Cleveland, Ohio, when John was 14. Cleveland would become the launching pad for his empire. John attended Central High School but didn't graduate. At age 16, he decided formal education was a waste of time. He took a 10-week business course learning bookkeeping and basic accounting, then immediately started looking for work. John spent 6 weeks walking door to door to every business in Cleveland looking for a job. He was rejected dozens of times. Finally, on September 26, 1855, a commission merchant firm called Hewitt and Tuttle hired him as an assistant bookkeeper. His starting salary was $16 per week, about $550 in today's money. Rockefeller was fanatical about his work. He arrived early and stayed late. He memorized every account. He found inefficiencies and errors that senior employees had missed. Within 3 years, he was managing major accounts. But when Rockefeller asked for a raise to $800 per year, he was making $600, the partners refused. Rockefeller immediately quit. At age 19, with $1,000 in savings and a $1,000 loan from his father at 10% interest, John partnered with Morris Clark to start a commission merchant business. Clark and Rockefeller bought and sold goods: grain, meat, farm equipment. The business was immediately successful, earning $4,000 in the first year, about $140,000 today. In 1859, Edwin Drake struck oil in Titusville, Pennsylvania. It was America's first commercial oil well. The discovery triggered an oil rush similar to the California gold rush. Thousands of prospectors flooded into Pennsylvania hoping to strike it rich drilling for oil. Most people focused on drilling, finding new oil wells. Rockefeller saw a different opportunity. Oil was worthless underground. It only had value after being refined into kerosene for lamps and lubricants for machinery. The refining process was where the real money was made. In 1863, Rockefeller and Clark invested $4,000 in a small Cleveland refinery with Samuel Andrews, a skilled refiner. Cleveland was the perfect location. Railroads connected it to Pennsylvania's oil fields and to major markets in the east. Rockefeller handled the business side while Andrews perfected the refining process. Within 2 years, the refinery was Cleveland's largest. But Rockefeller and Clark disagreed about expansion. Clark wanted to grow slowly and conservatively. Rockefeller wanted to borrow money and expand aggressively. In 1865, they decided to auction their partnership. Whoever bid higher would buy out the other partner. The bidding started at $500, then quickly escalated. Clark bid $72,000, thinking Rockefeller couldn't possibly go higher. Rockefeller calmly bid $72,500. Clark was stunned and quit bidding. At age 26, Rockefeller borrowed the money and took complete control of the refinery, renaming it Rockefeller and Andrews. This moment revealed Rockefeller's philosophy: borrow to expand when you have competitive advantage. The refinery was the most efficient in Cleveland. With full control, Rockefeller could execute his vision without compromise. In 1870, Rockefeller founded Standard Oil Company of Ohio with $1 million in capital. His vision was revolutionary: create the most efficient, vertically integrated oil company in existence. Standard Oil wouldn't just refine oil. It would control every aspect from extraction to final delivery. Rockefeller's first strategy was efficiency through scale. While competitors ran small, inefficient refineries, Rockefeller built the largest refineries with the most advanced technology. His refineries produced kerosene cheaper and better than anyone else. He also extracted value from waste products that other refineries discarded, creating lubricants, petroleum jelly, and other byproducts. His second strategy was vertical integration. Standard Oil manufactured its own barrels, eliminating the cost of buying them. The company built its own warehouses, pipelines, and distribution networks. Rockefeller even purchased forests to ensure timber supply for barrels. Every dollar saved by controlling the supply chain gave Standard Oil a pricing advantage. His third and most controversial strategy was railroad rebates. Railroads needed consistent large-volume customers. Rockefeller negotiated secret deals. Standard Oil would ship massive quantities of oil on specific railroads, and in return, the railroads gave Standard Oil discounted shipping rates. Some deals even paid Standard Oil rebates on competitors' shipments. These rebates gave Standard Oil an enormous advantage. Rockefeller could sell kerosene at prices competitors couldn't match. Small refineries lost money on every gallon while Standard Oil made profit. Rockefeller then implemented his consolidation strategy. He'd approach struggling competitors with an offer. Sell your refinery to Standard Oil, or we'll drop our prices below cost and destroy you. If they refused, Rockefeller would flood their markets with cheap kerosene, selling at a loss until the competitor went bankrupt. Then he'd buy their assets for pennies on the dollar. If competitors agreed to sell, Rockefeller paid fair market value, sometimes generous prices. He often kept the former owners as managers, believing their expertise was valuable. By 1872, Standard Oil controlled 25% of American oil refining. By 1880, it controlled 90%. By 1904, it controlled 91% of oil refining and 85% of all oil sales in America. Standard Oil's structure was brilliant and controversial. In 1882, Rockefeller's lawyers created the Standard Oil Trust, the first major corporate trust in American history. Standard Oil of Ohio became the holding company for 41 subsidiary companies across different states. This structure allowed Rockefeller to bypass state laws prohibiting one company from owning property in multiple states. The trust controlled everything from a central office in New York. Rockefeller's brother William and trusted executives like Henry Flagler managed operations while John focused on strategy. The scale was unprecedented. Standard Oil operated in every state. It owned oil wells, pipelines spanning thousands of miles, refineries, storage facilities, and distribution networks. The company employed over 100,000 people. It standardized business practices, created uniform accounting systems, and pioneered modern corporate management structures. Rockefeller was obsessed with data and efficiency. He required detailed reports from every operation. He knew production costs down to the fraction of a cent. If one refinery produced kerosene for 2.4 cents per gallon while another produced it for 2.6 cents, Rockefeller would investigate why and fix the inefficiency. The profits were staggering. In the 1880s, Standard Oil was earning approximately $40 to $45 million annually, about $1.2 billion today. Rockefeller owned about 25% initially, which grew to nearly 30% by the 1890s. His personal annual income exceeded $10 million, when the average American worker made $400 per year. By 1896, John D. Rockefeller's personal net worth exceeded $200 million, approximately $7 billion today. He was by far the richest person in America and likely the world. But he was just getting started. Standard Oil's dominance triggered massive public backlash. Small oil producers and refiners who'd been crushed by Rockefeller's tactics demanded government intervention. Journalists, particularly Ida Tarbell, exposed Standard Oil's ruthless business practices. Her 1904 book, The History of the Standard Oil Company, turned public opinion decisively against Rockefeller and monopolies generally. Tarbell's father had been an oil producer ruined by Standard Oil's predatory pricing. Her exposed detailed railroad rebates, industrial espionage, and the systematic destruction of competitors. Americans were shocked by the extent of Standard Oil's power and control. State legislatures began passing antitrust laws. In 1890, Congress passed the Sherman Antitrust Act, outlawing monopolies and business practices that restrained trade. Standard Oil fought back in courts, arguing its practices were legal and that its efficiency benefited consumers with lower prices. In 1892, the Ohio Supreme Court ordered Standard Oil of Ohio dissolved for violating state monopoly laws. Rockefeller's lawyers restructured the trust, but the legal battles continued. In 1906, the federal government filed suit against Standard Oil under the Sherman Antitrust Act. The case took 5 years. In 1911, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled unanimously that Standard Oil violated the Sherman Act and ordered its breakup. Standard Oil was split into 34 separate companies, including Standard Oil of New Jersey, later Exxon, Standard Oil of New York, later Mobil, Standard Oil of California, later Chevron, and others. The irony, the breakup made Rockefeller even richer. He owned significant shares in all 34 companies. As independent companies, their combined stock value skyrocketed. When Standard Oil was broken up, Rockefeller's net worth was approximately $900 million. Within a few years, it exceeded $1.4 billion, about $340 billion in 2024 dollars, making him the richest person in modern history. Rockefeller had been donating to charity since his first paycheck as a teenager. He gave 6% of his earnings to his Baptist church from age 16. As his wealth grew, so did his giving. But after 1897, when he semi-retired at age 58, philanthropy became his primary focus. Rockefeller's approach to charity was as systematic as his business methods. He hired Frederick Gates, a former Baptist minister, to help organize his philanthropic efforts. Gates helped Rockefeller think strategically about giving, focusing on root causes rather than symptoms, creating institutions that would outlive him. In 1901, Rockefeller founded the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, now Rockefeller University, investing $50 million initially. The institute funded research that led to treatments for yellow fever, meningitis, and other diseases, saving millions of lives worldwide. In 1902, he created the General Education Board with an initial gift of $1 million, eventually contributing $180 million, about $5.4 billion today. The board improved education throughout the American South, funding schools for both white and black children when segregation laws kept them separate. In 1913, Rockefeller established the Rockefeller Foundation with an unprecedented $250 million endowment, about $7.5 billion today. The foundation's mission was to promote the well-being of mankind throughout the world. It funded public health initiatives, scientific research, arts and humanities, and social sciences globally. The foundation's work was transformative. It helped eradicate hookworm disease in the American South and around the world. It funded the development of the yellow fever vaccine. It supported medical schools, hospitals, and public health programs in dozens of countries. Historians estimate Rockefeller Foundation initiatives saved hundreds of millions of lives. Rockefeller also funded the construction of the University of Chicago with $80 million in donations, making it one of the world's great research universities. He supported Spelman College, named after his wife Laura Spelman, an historically black women's college. He funded countless churches, YMCAs, and community institutions. By his death in 1937, Rockefeller had given away approximately $540 million, more than half his fortune. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $16 billion in 2024 dollars. His children and grandchildren, particularly Nelson Rockefeller and David Rockefeller, continued the philanthropic tradition. John D. Rockefeller died on May 23, 1937, at age 97 at his estate in Ormond Beach, Florida. He lived long enough to see his business empire broken up, his reputation evolve from villain to philanthropist, and his descendants become one of America's most prominent families. His wealth at death was estimated at $1.4 billion, equivalent to approximately $26 billion in $1,937, or roughly $340 billion in 2024 adjusted for economic growth. As a percentage of U.S. GDP, Rockefeller's peak wealth was approximately 1.5% of the entire American economy, a level of relative wealth no one has approached since. The 34 companies created from Standard Oil's breakup became the foundation of the modern oil industry. ExxonMobil, Chevron, Marathon, and others trace their origins directly to Rockefeller's empire. The petroleum industry structure he created, vertical integration, economies of scale, global distribution networks, remains the template today. Rockefeller revolutionized American business. He pioneered the corporate trust structure that dominated American business until antitrust laws ended it. He demonstrated that systematic efficiency and economies of scale could create unprecedented competitive advantages. He showed that data-driven decision-making and obsessive cost control could build unstoppable market dominance. His philanthropic innovations were equally influential. The Rockefeller Foundation created the template for modern large-scale philanthropy, using wealth systematically to solve root causes of problems rather than just treating symptoms. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and other modern billionaire philanthropists explicitly cite Rockefeller as their model. The name Rockefeller became synonymous with both extreme wealth and robber baron capitalism. His business practices were ruthless and often crossed ethical lines, even when technically legal. He destroyed countless competitors and created a monopoly that required government intervention to break up. Yet he also made kerosene affordable for average Americans, standardized oil quality, and funded institutions that saved millions of lives. John D. Rockefeller started with $1,000 in savings at age 19. He was a bookkeeper's son with a conman father, no special connections, and no inherited wealth. 40 years later, he controlled 90% of American oil, and his personal wealth equaled 1.5% of the entire U.S. economy, approximately $340 billion in today's terms. His secret wasn't luck or genius. It was obsessive focus on efficiency, systematic elimination of waste, and willingness to borrow aggressively when he had competitive advantage. He understood that controlling refining and distribution was more valuable than drilling for oil. He built the most efficient operations, used scale to negotiate better rates, and systematically bought or destroyed every competitor. His methods were ruthless. He used predatory pricing, secret railroad rebates, and industrial espionage. He crushed small competitors and built a monopoly so powerful the government had to break it up. Yet that breakup made him even richer, and he spent his final decades giving away over half his fortune to causes that saved millions of lives. Rockefeller proved that systematic efficiency and economies of scale could build unprecedented wealth, that vertical integration and cost control could create unbeatable competitive advantages, that whoever controlled critical infrastructure could dominate an entire industry. Every modern corporation uses principles Rockefeller pioneered. The bookkeeper who made $16 per week became the richest person in human history through oil, efficiency, and ruthless execution. That's not just a business story. That's the blueprint for industrial domination.